Welcome students. In this topic, we will learn about corner joint on 10 mm thick MS plates in vertical position using SMAW process.
At the end of this topic, you will be able to select appropriate electrodes for tack welding and welding process. Prepare and set plates in corner joint in vertical position. Tack weld. Weld corner joint in vertical position using SMAW. Inspect the weldments for defects. Now, let us look at the tools required for corner joint on a 10 mm thick MS plate in vertical positions using SMAW process. Steel rule, scriber, prick punch, ball peen hammer, flat file, bench vise, tri-square, tongs, chipping hammer, steel wire brush, electrode cable and earth cable, electrode holder, electrode, personal protective equipment, SMAW welding plant machine, C-clamp. Now, let us see the pre-welding preparations for a corner joint on 10 mm thick MS plates in vertical position using SMAW process. Use personal protective equipment for safety purposes. Cut two 10 mm thick MS plates, 150 mm length by 50 mm width. File the edges and inspect the plates. Select 3.15 mm dia electrode and set 110 amps current. Set the fillet open corner joint with 1.5 mm to 2 mm root gap and an angle slightly tilted to 87 degrees between the inside surfaces of the plates to control the distortion. Tack weld on the root side of the joint on both the ends. The lapping distance should be 30 mm so that there is no gap between them after tacking. Keep the electrodes ready for each run. For root run, use 3.15 mm electrode and 110 amps current. For second and third run, use 4 mm electrode and 160 amps current. We have seen the pre-welding preparations. Let us look at the welding process of a corner joint on 10 mm thick MS plates in vertical position using SMAW process. Set the weld in a vertical position on the weld positioner. Position the joint in vertical position and the angle of the line of weld with the top of the table should be 90 degrees. Deposit root run with a 3.15 mm dia electrode and 110 amps welding current. Maintain an electrode angle of 80 degrees to the line of weld and the electrode movement slightly sideways and deposit weld beads from the bottom to the top. Give whipping motion to the electrode. Maintain a short arc to get uniform fusion and a keyhole to ensure proper root penetration. Keep 1.6 mm root penetration depth. De-slag and clean the root bead at the toes thoroughly. Deposit the second run with a 4 mm dia electrode and 160 amps welding current. The angle of electrode should be 80 degrees to the line of weld and the arc length should be short. Move the electrode steadily upwards and sideways. Deposit the third and final run with a 4 mm dia electrode and 160 amps welding current with short arc length and sideways movement. De-slag and clean the weld bead. Now, we will look at the important points, defects to follow for a corner joint on 10 mm thick MS plates in vertical position using SMAW process. Maintain a short arc length with a multi-layer. Use tongs to hold the hot weld. Wear chipping goggles while deslagging for the protection of eyes. Avoid over-deposition and side undercut by using a proper angle and travel speed of the electrode. Ensure proper crater filling. Let us look at the defects which can be identified during the inspection process. Solid inclusion, over deposition, porosity, blowholes, undercut, recap.
In this topic, you have learned to set the plates in a corner joint, vertical position and tack weld. Weld root run on corner joint vertically upward. Deposit second and third layer by a weaving motion on a corner joint in vertical position. Inspect for surface defect.